For you. Let's start it off with Dario Franchitti. He'll be having the target on board, looking for, of course, victory number 4. Charlie Kimball is in the Novo Nordisk on board. Third 500 start. He finished 8th last year. And Graham Rahal is in the Honda on board. Third in 2011, but he starts 26 today.
All right, Grammy. Let's have a great day today. Have fun out there, and we'll give you the green when the time comes.
Tristan Vautier, 25-year-old rookie from France, is aboard the Lucas Oil Honda machine. JR Hildebrand, 25, from Sausalito, California, is driving the National Guard car powered by Chevrolet. And his teammate, Justin Townsend Bell, is driving the Sunoco car, and this will be his 7th Indianapolis 500 start.
Will Power with the Verizon onboard camera is looking to improve his best 5th place finish. Helio Castroneves with our 2nd Verizon inboard camera is hunting down his 4th Indy 500. Ryan Hunter-Reay with the Firestone onboard camera, last year's IndyCar champion, has yet to lead a lap at Indy.
And James Hinchcliffe has the GoDaddy on board, finished 5th last year. He'll start 9th today.
James, just double check on your controls. You're at 5 on the front bar and 50% on the weight tracker. I think that's a good place to start the race.
Marco Andretti on the outside of row 1, the United Fiber and Data on board. He will start 3rd. He thinks he has his best chance ever to win the race. And our pole sitter with the Chevy on board, Ed Carpenter, hates the David versus Goliath comparison, and with good reason. Dan Weldon led a one-car team to victory in 2011. For live streaming of all 12 onboard cameras, go to watchespn.com or the Watch ESPN app. Now, our broadcast is also available in Spanish. All you have to do is activate your SAP button. It's presented by ESPN Deportes. All right, as you can tell, it is overcast here today. And we also want to talk about the temperature, because notice it's 59 degrees. Back in 1992, Scott, you were involved in a very cold race.
Well, I know that weather conditions very well, and I actually spoke to Helio Castroneves this morning. He says, I think these cars are going to handle the weather and the track conditions fine. He's not worried about the grip. Firestone tires are excellent. But the interesting thing we find with cooler weather, the teams that maybe weren't running so strongly have an advantage because it equals out the car. So we'll have to watch that today.
But I think this temperature is going to equalize the whole field. It'll bring the cars that have not been there up to speed, and you'll see more people participating for a win than you would have done if it was a hot track.
Realize just one thing. No other race cars in the world are asked to go this fast for this distance, 500 miles. Buckle up, enjoy the sights and sounds of the Indianapolis 500. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to write another page of history. For the 97th time, the Indianapolis 500 is green. Turn number 3, Ed Carpenter has taken the early lead. Marco Andretti has gotten around Carlos Munoz to take over 2nd.
Marty, we just got through one of the most difficult times of a race, starting at this track 3 wide going into turn 1. When you haven't been in the car for a couple of days, we already see a lot of movement happening back in the field.
That was Ryan Hunter-Reay side by side with James Hinchcliffe as they head through turn 1.
We're still in that section of the race where nobody has even started to get their rhythm. They're still trying to find the place where their car will bring them, because they're not quite sure how their car runs, because this is a colder day. So everybody is still feeling out their car and the track.
Side by side through the corner there.
Tony Kanaan trying to get underneath Helio Castroneves.
Helio closed the door, holding on to the position. You know, going back to the start, Carlos Munoz, a 21-year-old rookie, youngest ever on the front row. He did a good job.
He did a good job, but he had his first lesson. His teammate passed him on the first back straight.
Well, you said it was going to be a learning experience.
And it will be, all the way through to the first pit stop. And he did incredibly well in qualifying, running faster than all of his teammates. But qualifying is one thing, and a race is another. What you have to do at this point of the race is find your rhythm, because you have a long way to go.
Well, and one of the other things you'll notice is Munoz takes a totally different line through these corners than most of the other drivers.
He does, and I think that's going to upset the cars that are around him, because everybody's used to running in a pattern, and he, for some reason, has a different pattern, which looks risky, but has been very efficient for him.
Coming down the front straightaway. A little bit further back there, you saw a couple of cars taking a peek, but nobody could make the pass at this stage. Whoa, a leg wiggle there. Look out. Spin going into the wall. JR Hildebrand has hit the wall in turns between 1 and 2. And there you can see where he stopped.
Very unfortunate. He never really got a chance to even get going.
2 years ago, he was 1 turn away from winning the race when he hit the wall.
And the first words he said were, Scott?
Sorry.
Just went loose.
Loose, meaning the back end of the car wants to come around for you. And Eddie, as you know, it is very difficult to be able to drive a car that is loose in traffic.
It's impossible. A car that is loose, he actually had the problem going into the corner, and I think, yes, the car in front of him took his downforce away, and all of a sudden the car just changed balance.
Well, in that case, the question is, honestly, Eddie, is the car that you're driving have enough downforce on it? You see, he's also just outside of the groove just a little bit, that maybe the back end got just a little bit loose on him and the back end started to come around.
Let's ride on board and listen.
Inside, clear.
Hildebrand, driver for the National Guard. And we have troops over in Afghanistan that are watching. Watch their reaction. That's the Indiana National Guard. And they're disappointed, of course, because that was the car they were rooting for.
So now that we got a chance to look at it, what happened is that Hinchcliffe owned a piece of the racetrack, and he didn't give Hildebrand all the room that he would have wanted, and he had half of his car up in the gray. It was early in the race, and maybe his car was a little loose, and the tail end just came around.
Let's go on board with James Hinchcliffe.
And you're exactly right, Eddie, because that's a point where JR Hildebrand was probably being a little bit too polite
Going yellow.
in giving.
Jamie, you've got more?
Well, you guys, JR Hildebrand told me they brought an aggressive setup here. They came here to win. They finished second place with this team 4 out of the last 5 years. They didn't want to finish second again, so they went extremely aggressive. JR told me this car was not comfortable to drive at all, but it was fast, and that could have led to this.
Well, as we've seen, this place can come up and bite you very quickly at Indianapolis, and it has just bit the number 4. Now remember, the restarts last year, boy, did we have a ton of action in the 7 total restarts, 55 passes, and we're getting ready for our first one.